wanted to show you guys a super quick veggie garden tour at the end of February. Here I am in Indiana, just because I've got more stuff going on in the garden than I ever thought that I could at this time of year. So I'm going to take you around. So at the end of September last year, I decided to just plant a bunch of seeds in the ground of cold hardy vegetables, thinking we'll just do an experiment. We'll see what grows, what I can harvest over the winter, and then what may survive through the winter into spring. And you'll see my little hoops. The only protection that I had, if you can see the little white fleece over there, it's called frost cloth. That was stretched over these hoops until like 10 minutes ago when I pulled it off. And you'll also see the big chunks of snow. Last week it was like -2 degrees Fahrenheit, well below freezing, and we had a foot of snow on the ground. So now it's 45 degrees and really quite lovely outside. But I just wanted to show you guys what can live with that super basic protection over what's a fairly harsh winter. This year it's been really mild where we are in Indiana, but technically we're a zone like 5 or 6, depending kind of on the year and exactly where you are. They can't decide for sure which zone we are. But these are turnip greens, and you can see these guys are really happy. And almost all of this we picked some from in the winter. Like, I don't know, we probably got 20 meals worth of like salads or like just things to put on top of like sandwiches or what have you. This is broccoli rabe, so it's like sprouting broccoli. It's not supposed to be that's a weed. It's not supposed to be like a head of broccoli. You cut the little like the sprouts and they grow lots of sprouts. I'm absolutely shocked. Like, broccoli is not one of the most cold hardy vegetables, so I'm absolutely shocked that there's still quite a bit of this, and some of it's looking a little worse for wear, but I think it's mostly alive, and there's definitely some that are more than alive that are doing really well. Swiss chard, I'm kind of surprised by this as well. It's cold hardy, but it's not like the most cold hardy. But I've got quite a few little Swiss chard plants that are definitely alive there. Endive, this is one that I'm not all that surprised that he's still doing fine. It is one that's supposed to be pretty cold hardy. That's kind of like a slightly bitter lettuce. It kind of depends on your growing conditions and how big you let it get. About exactly how bitter it is. But that was curly endive, and this is like broadleaf endive. And again, a tiny bit worse for wear, but it was 20 degrees below zero or below freezing a week ago. So it's kind of amazing that is alive at all. This was where my peas were. Peas are not that. They're like frost tolerant, but they're not freeze tolerant. Tatsoi, was touted as very cold tolerant, and it has lived up to expectations. Look at that. Aside from a couple of yellow leaves around the outside, this is like, it's so cute. It looks like a little flower. And there's quite a bit of that. It's like an Asian mustard green, but it's delicious. It's like buttery. It's really nice. I don't know what this weed is, but there's a lot of it. Now we have arugula. Again, I'm kind of surprised this did as well as it did. Look at all this arugula. And I know you're probably thinking, these plants are tiny, what is she talking about? They're tiny, but they're alive, and they've got good roots down there, if they could make it this long. So they're going to, now that it's warmer, we're still going to get below freezing a bunch. It's February, but I know they can take it. I'll probably pull the frost cloth back over top of them, although maybe not. They're probably going to be okay without it. So there's spinach here. These are some beets. They're going to be hard to see because they're that really dark red color, but those are some beet leaves around, again, this weed. Gotta get going on that. And then here's a lettuce. Here's just a couple of little lettuces. I think this one is black-seeded Simpson. One is black-seeded Simpson and one is romaine. I think this is romaine and this is black-seeded Simpson, but I wouldn't swear to it. I have no idea how an onion got here, but there's an onion. There's another one. Maybe I planted onions in the spring? I don't, and some of them didn't sprout. I don't know. These are rat-tailed radishes. Those are not alive. That's what dead plants look like. But these are radishes that are still alive. There's a tiny little radish under there. Little bitty. So it's not great, but I'll take it inside and show the kids because they'll think it's fun. And then I actually also have some Daikon radishes. That's what these are. So those are the big, long, white ones that are real mild. You can slice them and use them for like cooking and stir fries and stuff. Oops, I dropped my radish. And then I don't know what you are. You are cilantro. Cilantro was one of those that I thought, let me make sure that that's cilantro and not a weed. Oh, nope, that's a weed. No, it is cilantro. I can smell it. Cilantro, I always think of as a summer vegetable. Cilantro is not a summer vegetable. Cilantro likes the cold. Cilantro survived -2 degrees Fahrenheit out there at that end. And with the sniff test, it definitely is cilantro. I'm prepping these beds, are getting ready. I'm covering them with cardboard. There's cardboard under that white fleece, and then the white fleece is just to keep it all held down until the cardboard gets nice and saturated and wet, and that I'll poke holes through it and plant my plants through the holes. All of my beds I topped with horse manure, and then with straw, or with hay rather, which is with the grass that still has the seeds attached. There's a billion weed seeds in both of those things. And so covering it with cardboard means none of those weeds are going to germinate. And then the cardboard will break down. Worms love to eat cardboard. I don't know where all these onions are coming from. There's onions in here. These are some store-bought plants that I put in the ground much larger at the end of September. This cabbage has seen better days, but it is still alive. There's one type of kale, some broccolis that are still alive, and most of these teeny tiny little sprouty guys are carrots. I planted them in the summer and they did not sprout. They did sprout over the winter, so I'd kind of given up on the carrots, but that is carrot foliage. And just like the cilantro, if you poke it, you can smell it. And then I transplanted some stuff out of the main bed and moved it over into this section to like thin the plants. So there's some turnip greens in there. And then I didn't put labels over here because I'm not very organized. So I'm not sure what this is. This may be endive, maybe lettuce. I'm not sure. Oh, here's a tag. It says lettuce. So this is black-seeded Simpson lettuce, all of these little guys. So we're gonna have lots of lettuce here in not that long. And then I promise this is the end. I can talk about my garden for a really long time if you haven't noticed. Very enthusiastic. This is my makeshift cold frame. These are straw bales made in a U shape. And then the plastic is two old shower curtains that had gotten mildewy that I cleaned off. And then there's some more of that fleece that I pull over towards the end of the day. But I don't know if you can see through the plastic very well in the video, but I have hundreds of seedlings under here in all of this. The milk jugs absorb heat from the sun during the day and then release it in the nighttime. So that's why it keeps the temperature more stable overnight. And I really have found that it's pretty successful at doing this. And I know that because see the little white box? That's a temperature gauge. So there's onions, there's basically everything that you saw out there that survived the winter. Those are the seedlings that are in here. And I'm hoping to plant those in the beds with the white covers here in about 2 weeks. Is my hope. So that is my garden tour in February. I have about that many seedlings again still in the house. Peas and lettuce, stuff that's a little bit less cold hardy, and things like tomatoes and eggplants and peppers that take a while to get established but aren't going to be able to be planted out until the end of April, May time. So that's all she wrote. You can see the orchard in the back. I think we have 30 fruit trees. They all need pruning pretty badly, but we've still got a month or so before they start to break buds. So the little buds swell up and you need to prune them before that happens. So I hope you enjoyed it. I really like playing in the garden.